Hey everyone, welcome back to Papa's Workshop. Several years ago, I had designed this extension cord holder. Now over the years, I've modified this several different times by adding a handle and adding some additional features on it. And I've cut this out on the bandsaw as well as on the CNC machine. Well, recently, I had a person request a file to be cut out on the laser. Today, I'm going to show you in Lightburn how I designed this same extension cord holder in the Lightburn software so that you can cut it out with a laser if you don't have a CNC machine or if you don't have the bandsaw. This is what the finished version looks like. And I want to show you exactly how I designed this to be able to have you cut out your own. Now this right here is actually 4 inches wide by 17.5 inches long. If you want to make this a little bit shorter, you certainly can do that. In my case, I have the extension bed and I can easily fit it on here. Now this video is going to show you step by step how to make this extension cord holder from the very beginning all the way to the end. So I hope that you'll take the opportunity to watch this video from the beginning to the end so that you can make your own extension cord holder. Now, before we get into this, I hope that you'll take the opportunity to be able to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please leave me a comment. This has been a very popular video and a very popular item to be able to make these extension cord holders over the last several years. Now, with the different videos that I've done, you have a choice. You can cut it out with the bandsaw, as I've shown in one of the videos, as well as cut it out on the CNC machine. And now, you can cut this same extension cord holder out on the laser. Gives you a lot of versatility, and I hope this video will continue to be real popular. Now, one other thing with these, you can make them any size that you want. Most of the cords that I have are actually 16 gauge that are 50 foot long, and this size works extremely well. But if you have a longer cord or a cord with a larger gauge on it, you might need to be able to adjust the size of this extension cord holder to fit your particular cord. To begin this, since we're going to use the exact same dimensions as this one, I'm going to come over here to the rectangle tool and I'm just going to drag out a rectangle. Now I want to be able to set this up on a specific size. I want this rectangle to be 4 inches by 17.5. In fact, you know what? No, we'll make it 17.5, which is exactly the same as this one. If you want to make it a little bit smaller, we can do that. In fact, let's do it. Let's change this to 16, because that more than likely will fit on different people's CNC machines just a little bit easier. So now I'm going to come back here to this tool, and now I can actually take and position this exactly where I want it. I like using the grid lines to be able to help place everything, and that's what I'm going to do in this case. I have this set at the bottom left-hand corner. It really doesn't matter. It can be placed at either one, just as long as it's on the left side. And I'm going to place this at the 10 inches and the 30 inches. And that actually will be good. Now that I have the basic shape of this portion right here, it's time to put in this notch to be able to actually hold the cord. Now on this one, this is 2 inches by 3 inches. So we can do exactly the same thing. So I'll come back over to the rectangle tool and we'll just draw out a rectangle, and I want the size of this to be the 2 inches by 3 inches. So we have that now set, and I can bring that right over here and snap that in place. I'm also going to make a copy of it, so I'll hit Control C and Control V, and I have a copy that I'll just take and just slide down to here. Now the next step is I want to be able to weld all this together, and I also want to get rid of this line. To be able to do that, you have the tools right over here. Now if you're not familiar with which one welds, subtracts, adds, you can very simply just highlight this. With this highlighted, we can come over here to this tool right here, come down to the Boolean Assistant, select it, and then we can scroll over each one of these and you can see what will happen. and you can see what we're looking for is this right here. So I'm just going to select it, hit the OK, and that gives me exactly what I'm looking for. Now I can do this one at a time. You can't do multiple, so we'll do the exact same thing. So now I can highlight this. Let's zoom in so you can see exactly what's taking place here. We'll come up here to the tools. We'll select the Boolean Assistant and do the same thing. And you can see right here, I may be too close. So let's zoom out of this a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I think that may be better for you. So now let's go back over here. And you can see what happens. See, that disappears, or this just leaves a square. And right here, that's what we're looking for. This subtracts the first shape from the second shape. So we'll hit OK. So now we have the basic holder. I want to add this handle. That's 1 inch and 2 inches. So when this is 6 inches here. So I need a rectangle that's going to be 2 inches by the 6 inches. So let's do that right now. Come back over to the rectangle tool. We'll select this. And we need to set up the size. And we said that was going to be 2 inches by the 6 inches. So at this point, we can come over and place that exactly where we want it. The next thing I want to do is make sure that this is in the center of this. So one of the easiest things to do, we'll highlight just this portion. We'll set this up in the center. And where is the center? On the y-axis, it would be at the 22-inch line. So by doing this, having this in the center, check it, it's on the 22-inch line, and oddly enough, we are exactly on the center. So that actually worked out pretty well. So now that I have this in here, I want to be able to get rid of this line as I did before. So the easiest way is to be able to highlight it. I'm going to come up to my tools, and I'll come down to my assistant again, and I'll do the same thing. And that's the one I want. We'll subtract that out, and now I have this in place. So next I want to be able to get this radius. How do I get this radius? So the next thing is to get the radius in here. So I'm going to highlight this, and I want to unmove that, put it back where it was, because I accidentally bumped it. I'm going to come down here to the radius tool, have 1 inch in there. So I'm going to just click on that, click on this, come down, click on this one and that one. And that takes care of it. So that worked out real easy. The next thing I need to do is put this hole in here. Now this is a 1 inch hole. And this was originally 6 inches. So this is actually a 4 inch by 1 inch hole. And we can also put the radius in here as well. So let's do that next. So we're going to come back to our rectangle tool, and we're just going to draw a rectangle, and we know this rectangle needs to be, unlock this, I know it needs to be 1 inch by the 4 inches, and it's already at 4 inches, so that is good. So that's now taken care of, and I need a 1/2 inch radius because this is a 1 inch space. So let's come back over here. We'll make this on a 0.5 radius, and then we'll come and click the corners. And that takes care of it. Come up to our select tool, and now I can grab this and slide it over and drop it in position. To double check it, I can come over here. I know this is at the 22 inches, which is on the center. And that gives me my alignment exactly where I want it. So now the handle is taken care of. So we can zoom out. We need to do this next. And there's actually a couple of different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you one way. But again, keep in mind, there are multiple ways to do this notch. I know that this notch is actually 3/4 of an inch. and it's going to be 6 inches long. So we're going to start out doing the same thing. We'll grab a rectangle, we'll draw that out. We'll come up here and we'll set this up at 0.75 of an inch. We'll make this 6 inches long. So that is the basic shape that we need to put in here. Now here's where you can do a multitude of different ways to do it. I'm going to just stay with the same type format that I've used. I'm just going to create another rectangle. Just a small little rectangle here. Come back up to my select tool, and I'm going to come right up here and rotate that at 45 degrees. And then I'll take this and just slide it right over on top. And I want it right on. I want it right on this corner. You can see right now it's not. So all I'm going to do is just take it, slide it over there, lock it onto the corner just like that. Then the next thing, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to highlight this. We'll select the tool menu. We'll select my assistant right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to have it union. I don't want just a triangle. I want this right there. And that gives me the perfect slot that I'm looking for. Now we need to do the same thing, of course, at the other end. And again, there's several ways to do it, but I'm just going to keep it real simple and do the same method. So there's my square. I'm going to rotate this now. So I'm going to take my rectangle that I just made and just slide it right over here. Now I'm close, but I'm not on top of it. I want it right to there as that intersection. So I'll just take and slide this over. And I have that point right there where I want it. So we'll select out of it. I'll highlight everything. Come back up here to my tool menu. Come down here to my Boolean Assistant. And then we can take a look at this. And that's what I'm looking for right there. And hit the subtract button. Now that is done. This actually now will match what we need over here. So that is perfect. So now all I need to do is just drop it into place. Now I'm not exactly where I want it. I know on the y-axis I need this to be at 22. So we'll put that at 22 inches. And that moves right up where it needs to be. And I know that on this one right here, it's on the 14. So I can actually do the same thing, just key in 14. Not on the center though, but to put it out here, and we'll put that at 14 again. And now I'm right where it needs to be. So the last step, of course, is to select these two items. We'll come back up here to the tools, back to the assist, and let's take a look at what we need to be able to do with this. And that's it right there. We'll click on it, and that takes care of it. This is all finished now, with the exception of this notch in here. This allows you to actually put the cord, a loop of the cord, into here and use this hook to be able to hold it, to be able to then wrap your cord around. So let's do this. This is 2 inches by 1 inch. So let's start out the same way as we did before. We'll start out with a rectangle. We need that to be 2 inches by the 1 inch. That gives me the rectangle that I'm looking for. Get this up close so that you can see exactly what we're doing. Now the next thing I need to do is put in a smaller rectangle. So we'll come back over here. We'll put this in. Now I want this to be a 1/2 inch high. And as for that takes care of my height in here. And I think what I'm going to do, because I know this is 2 inches, I'm going to make this a 1/2 inch as well. And that takes care of it. So we'll slide that over and drop that right in here. Now right now, if I put this at the center, where is this sitting? This is at, on the x-axis, 19.9. We can just make this 20 on the x-axis. And let's make sure that this one is on the 20, and it is, so now we know it's centered. It's just that simple. We don't actually have to be in the grid. We still have the grid out here. So this is all finished. Let's just drag it over here. We'll drop it in place. It's a little bit closer here, a little bit closer there, but that's okay. Remember, we shortened the entire holder, so that will still work out just fine. The next step is I want to put some of these radius in here. So now that we have this placed where we want it, I want to be able to put the radius in just like we did here. So I'm going to come back to the radius tool. I'm going to put this in. Doesn't need to be much of a radius. I'm going to put in 0.25 of an inch. And then we'll come over here and we'll be able to select these corners and put in that radius. And if you like that, that would take care of it just fine. The other thing I want to be able to do is put the radius in here. And we'll put the radius in this corner so it's just not so sharp on the cord. Right there and right there. And that takes care of it. Last thing I want to do is group all this together. So I'll come right up here. This is my group tool. We'll select it, and now when I select any one point, it selects everything. That way I can grab this and I can move it anywhere that I want it, and all the components will move together. The last step, I had added the logo. So over here in the art library, under my logos, I have the logo that I can just drag and place in here. That's the logo right there. And I want to get rid of, on this particular one, I want to cut that blue line off of it. I also want to highlight everything. We're going to group this together because it's not grouped. And I want to rotate it 90 degrees. So I have that done. So now let's take and we can just click on anywhere since we just grouped it together, and we can bring that up right into this area. We've got it now set at the 22 inches, but I do want to make it a little bit bigger. Not that big. And then we'll take this and put it right back at the 22-inch line, and that takes care of it. We'll also take this and put it on the blue field like we did before. That takes care of it. And we'll have this back on the red for my cut layer. And we've now been able to create this, and it's ready to be able to cut out. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of, the power settings and the speed and the power over here is not necessarily going to be for your laser. You can set this up for any speed and power that you need for your particular laser to be able to cut this out. And you can also use whatever material that you want to be able to use for this extension cord holder. A lot of people have been able to make these, and it's a great project to be able to keep all of your cords organized. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel. And also, please, if you will, leave me a comment. Tell me if you use this type of a cord extension holder, or what type of extension cord holder do you use to be able to keep your cords organized. So for now, I'm going to say bye-bye, and I'll see you in the next one. So take care, everyone.